Hello and welcome back to the Busse Podcast, where we dive into all things home remodeling and design. I'm your host, Ashley, and today we're exploring a topic that's perfect for those who love entertaining, cooking, and spending time outdoors, outdoor kitchen. Joining me today is the one and only Alana Busse, owner of Alana Busse Construction. Alana, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Ashley.
Awesome. So let's start at the very beginning. When homeowners are thinking about adding an outdoor kitchen, what are the first things they should consider before getting started?
One of the big considerations is space. How much of your backyard do you want to dedicate to your outdoor kitchen? And then do you like to entertain? Are we looking to being able to maybe cook and serve for a party of 4 or a party of 40? So all of those kind of things factor in. And then what kind of outdoor cooking do you like to do? Do you like to grill? Do you like to barbecue? Do you like to smoke meat? Do you just want a bar to simply serve drinks and entertain people? So we kind of look at all three of those elements to decide on a direction for an outdoor kitchen.
I also imagine balancing aesthetics and functionality is a key challenge. So how do you recommend homeowners achieve that perfect balance?
Well, we always want to make sure the space is functional first so that we have all of our appliances or storage or whatever items we're looking to put in that outdoor kitchen. And then with the materials that we can clad onto the outside of that and the countertops, then we can help make it aesthetically pleasing to the rest of the yard. So if you have maybe a lot of gray rock, maybe we're going with the gray tones, or if you have warmer tones or something, so it doesn't just stand out. Sometimes you want it to be kind of a focal point, and other times you want it to kind of blend with the rest of the yard, especially if you have like the fire pit and the pool and the spa and everything else. So you kind of want to see how everything's going to flow together and not just have like this one item that's going to stick out.
And when it comes to the design process, do you find that people tend to prioritize one over the other? So aesthetics and functionality.
With outdoor kitchens, a lot of times people are prioritizing functionality for them. Really, what do they want out of their outdoor kitchen? And then kind of making the aesthetics work around that. Indoor kitchens, every house has it. If you cook or if you don't cook, everybody has an indoor kitchen. They all remodel their indoor kitchens. I have some clients that are wonderful chefs and can make anything you can, your heart can desire, and others that don't cook at all and have beautiful kitchens. But the clients that request outdoor kitchens, those really tend to be people that truly do barbecue, smoke meat, cook outside. It's really going to be used. Very, very few people ever get an outdoor kitchen that they don't plan on using on a very regular basis.
And my next question is about budget. So budget is always a concern when taking on a big project like this. What are some budget-friendly options for homeowners who want to create an outdoor kitchen without breaking the bank?
So budget is always something to keep in mind, but you also want to keep in mind things that are musts for you. So if you create a list and you know what your musts are, maybe instead of doing a 48-inch grill or a 50-something inch grill, you'd be happy with a 30-inch grill and you can save a little bit money there. Maybe instead of doing so much storage outside, you can keep it a little simpler and you have maybe existing space inside your home that you can store some of your barbecuing accessories and things of that nature. So we always work with the client's budget to try to figure out where the budget should go in the project. But it's really figuring out what's super important for you. If you don't already have a sink in your backyard, then sometimes running those plumbing and things adds cost to the project. So sometimes clients will eliminate a sink and maybe do a beverage fridge that they think's a little bit more important, or they're getting a little bit more bang for their buck than running all of the lines for those.
And are there any areas where you think homeowners can afford to cut costs, and where should they definitely invest?
Your priority, at least for me, I'm a big barbecuer, smoking meat, all of that kind of stuff is always what are you going to cook on. I would say not cut corners on the actual grill or the actual smoker, because that's the main thing you're going to use. That's the main reason you're out there. And then you can cut corners sometimes on maybe the doors that you use. So if you do a really high-end grill and you're at the top of your appliance budget, then maybe some of the doors and the accessories below, you maybe do a little lesser on those. You also see a lot of great barbecue lines like Lynx Grills, where they have their high-end grills, but then they have a little bit more cost-effective line that's their Sedona line, and you can mix and match and do maybe the Lynx professional grill, but then maybe the Sedona storage underneath it, so you can still have that opportunity for that great cooking experience.
And let's talk about materials. Choosing the right countertops for an outdoor kitchen is crucial. And what material do you recommend that can withstand the elements?
There's so many great materials out there nowadays. Anything from most of your natural stones can go outside because they came from outside. So you see a lot of clients still doing natural stones. You still see concrete countertops, even almost like paver stones, flagstones, different materials that and then you have like grout lines and things like that to make it look a little bit more like it's part of nature. And then we have some quartzes that can now go outside. Not all quartz can go outside, but Caesar Stone does make some outdoor rated quartz. And there's some porcelain slabs that you can also use outside. So there's a plethora of materials to use for the countertops, and it's just going to kind of depend on budget and aesthetics for us to figure out which one's going to be best for you.
Now, let's move on to the fun part, making an outdoor kitchen feel luxurious. What would you say are the must-have features that can take an outdoor kitchen from basic to luxurious?
A very luxurious item to me is having a beverage fridge or some sort of refrigeration outside. It's great if you're out there grilling and you get a little bit thirsty or you're entertaining people. It's just right there. And then the overhang to have seating. So if you're grilling and you're entertaining, you still want to be around your guests. And the great way to be around your guests is to have outdoor seating with some beautiful chairs that they can sit there and interact with you as you're grilling and cooking them their dinner or lunch or whatever it might be. So those two items I think really take it up a notch on an outdoor kitchen. And then what I also love is warming drawers. Those are very luxurious because you're trying to cook so many things at once. So you don't have to really be as concerned about timing because you have a way to hold over or do a carryover cook on a piece of meat. So if you're going to pull something when maybe it's not your optimal temperature, you can maybe put it in the warming drawer to kind of do a little bit of a carryover and get up to that temp that you need while you're focusing on some other items on your grill. And then having a nice built-in outdoor trash can versus just having a plastic one. Of course, we all get winds out here in Southern California, and the plastic ones tend to fall over and the trash goes everywhere and all of that kind of stuff. So having a nice built-in one is fantastic. Everything's contained. My personal favorite item is a outdoor paper towel holder. It comes in so handy when you're out there, you spill a little bit of meat juice, you have something on your hands, whatever it might be. It's fantastic. You just flip down that little door and you grab your paper towel and then you're able to wipe your hands or whatever you're trying to wipe up, throw it right in, and all of those items are fantastic. And the ultimate thing is always the cocktail center. If you want the ultimate in luxury, you have the bar set up where you have beautiful wine fridge and your beautiful cocktail sink set up, and you have all your lemons and your limes and everything cut there, and your ice maker to the side. So having that bar area, if it fits within your budget, is a wonderful addition.
And sustainability is becoming a big focus in home design. We talked about it on a previous episode. How can homeowners incorporate sustainable and eco-friendly options into their outdoor kitchen design?
A lot of the materials nowadays are sustainable materials that are replenished when they're taken out. So it really has to do with material selections to figure out what's going to be more sustainable than others. And depending on what works in the project and stuff, we really go over that with the clients that are interested in those items and figure out what's best.
And also lighting plays such a huge role in setting the mood and making the space functional. What are the best lighting solutions to enhance both the ambience and practicality of an outdoor kitchen?
Lighting's always a little bit trickier on the outside than the inside, because inside you have a ceiling, you can put lights, hanging light fixtures and stuff like that. With your outdoor kitchen, it's going to really be specific to that project. A lot of times with an outdoor kitchen, you might have a patio cover or something and you can put lights in, or you have to mount lights either in trees or on the house or something to point towards the outdoor kitchen. You can have little LED strips set up under the countertop edge ledge to kind of focus down. You can have lights in the trees. I love the lights on the back of the knobs. So a lot of the appliances are backlit, so you can see like beautiful bright blue knobs. And then the grills, when we're selecting them, have lights inside. So the lights inside the grills are awesome. So if you are cooking at night, you can actually see, is it done? Is it the right color? Do you have the caramelization? Whatever might be needed. So it's really specific to the project, but we always figure out, do you cook at night? How you cook? Are you going to entertain? And making sure we have all of that covered. So do we need more task light so we can check on what we're doing? Or are we going to need more light for kind of that ambiance and eating and just making it that nice outdoor space, or both?
Yeah. I'm always curious about trends. Are there any unique design trends and innovations that you're seeing in outdoor kitchens right now?
We are seeing a big trend coming up with colored appliances. So almost all outdoor appliances were stainless steel. Everything was stainless steel, and you'd have like your little blue light accents or different things about that. But we are super excited. We do a lot of works with Lynx Grills, and they are coming out with some amazing colors in all of their products. And you can get really cool doors that have colors and the grills that are in the different colors. And we're talking like oranges and reds and purples and greens and blues and all sorts of, ones that match my shirt and everything. And there are other manufacturers that are also doing the color. So it's a great opportunity to get that little splash. You don't have, like indoors, sometimes you have to worry about, does it coordinate with this or that, or maybe other things inside the house. But outside, sometimes you can go a little more fun and do these splashes of color. You don't have to do the whole thing in color. You could do just the grill and maybe the doors under the grill, or you can do the whole item. But we're absolutely loving that. And the Komodo style grills, we're seeing those coming in different colors. They used to just be in the standard green by a specific manufacturer, and now we're seeing other manufacturers and other colors, if it's like more of a charcoal gray or red, or some really fun stuff coming out. And we saw that coming out at maybe about 6 months, a year ago, and it's just ramping up.
And also, let's talk a little bit about the common pitfalls. What are some mistakes homeowners make when planning an outdoor kitchen, and how can they avoid them?
I think common mistakes is really figuring out what you want out of your outdoor kitchen, not just, I want an outdoor kitchen. And then figuring out how you grill, how you like to grill, how you like to cook, and making sure you really choose the proper appliances and don't skimp on those. You really want nice, there is a very big difference on cooking on a grill that maybe you buy at a local big box store that that they have them chained out front and you take home for a few $100s. And when you get a real professional grill that is a few $1,000s, people don't realize how big of a difference that is and really what that changes and how much easier it is to cook and how much more it makes you want to cook on those. I think those are pitfalls as people are just looking at the price tags of stuff and it's like, why is it so much more? We'll just take the cheaper one. But once you cook on the more expensive one, you understand why that grill costs that amount because of the performance and everything else going along with it. And then the other pitfalls is thinking like, well, maybe I'll add a power burner later. It's more difficult to add stuff later to an outdoor kitchen because of the way the structure is designed and the materials and everything. It's not like indoor cabinets where you might be able to modify a cabinet or cut one out or things of that nature. So if you think you want the item, it's going to be way cheaper to get the item now and get it installed when we're doing everything else than trying to add that power burner later. So it's really evaluating that, and those are the pitfalls that we see is maybe somebody skimping on something and then regretting it later, and then it's way more to do it later than to have just done it in the beginning.
Also, once an outdoor kitchen is built, keeping it looking great over time is important. So, how do you ensure that an outdoor kitchen is easy to maintain?
Using the proper materials that are designed to go outside and making sure the homeowners understand what the maintenance is, what products to use to clean on it. A lot of times, if you use the wrong products, you can actually make it worse than not cleaning it at all. And invest in the covers. When you buy the appliances, when you buy the outdoor sink, when you buy the cocktail center, the power burner, invest in those covers. Those covers are made really well. They are designed to fit those products perfectly. So it is a snug fit. You don't really have to worry about them blowing all over the place and coming off and all of that. But you don't want to go through all this and then grab some sort of blue tarp from your local store to throw over your stuff. Get the right covers so that everything can be protected, and then make sure you use the right products as you're cleaning it. And it's pretty easy. A lot of times, just a quick hose down and everything's ready to go. You always want to make sure you're cleaning your grill grates properly. Depending on the grill, there's instruction for those, and making sure you keep the grease cleaned. But all of those things are pretty easy to do as long as you just know how to do it. And most people will do it as long as they know, but it's just educating the client to make sure they understand what that process is. And then your outdoor kitchen will look great for many, many years to come.
And space can sometimes be an issue, especially in smaller backyards. What are some creative ways to maximize space in a smaller outdoor kitchen layout?
If you're doing a smaller outdoor kitchen and your yard's a little bit smaller, you're probably not going to entertain 40 people in a small yard. So you don't need the huge grill. So for something like that, if you're trying to do a smaller space, maybe a 30-inch grill would be perfectly fine. And then instead of having a separate 30-inch flat top to do more of that Benihana style kind of cooking and stuff for family, you get a griddle plate to go into your grill so that you can eliminate that. You do a little bit smaller sink, and it's just kind of scaling down everything and then figuring out where it can go. Maybe you can get a little bit bigger kitchen if you give up the seating and you already have a table. We kind of figure and size everything for each project. Some clients have very large backyards, and other clients have very cozy backyards and neighbors that are close and fences that are close. And we scale down those items and make sure that they fit properly in the space and in the yard and that. But there's so many different sizes nowadays. It's fantastic. You don't just have to get, everyone just doesn't get a 42-inch grill. There's so many options out there.
And appliances are a big part of the kitchen. So, how do you recommend selecting appliances that will perform well in an outdoor setting?
There's so many different brands, so many different types of appliances to use outside. Personally, I own 5 barbecues and smokers and items, and I have cooked on a bunch of other ones. So getting to know my clients kind of lets me know how they cook so that I can recommend the proper item to them. So I can let them know this one has maybe more performance. This one, maybe you get more area to cook on. This one, you have less flare-ups. So there's all sorts of little tricks to each of them, and some of them have pros and cons. So we go over all of that with our clients and learning what they cook. I'm not going to grill a rack of baby back ribs. I'm going to smoke a rack of baby back ribs. So there's certain things like that. So knowing how people cook and what they cook leads us towards different appliances. And like I said, having the 5 different ones, being able to cook on a bunch of different styles, then I learn if clients love charcoal or if they want more of the natural gas, or do they like more of the pellets or the wood fire. There's so many different things, but we hone in on that so we know what brand. Every brand makes something good, but they all don't make everything good. So we can't just say this is the perfect brand for everyone, but if you love grilling, this is probably a good brand for you. But if you love smoking, this is a good brand for you. If you like being more on charcoal, this is going to be a better grill for you. So we really design it and figure it with each client in mind.
And can we go into a little more in detail to explain brands and do you have any favorite brands or features that homeowners should look out for?
I definitely have some favorite brands. I love my Lynx grill for grilling, barbecuing. It can get really hot really quick, searing off steaks and those kind of things. It comes in a bunch of different colors. I have the nice 36-inch one with the all Trident burners. It has all infrared burners, which means it's a lot less flare-ups. I love to grill, but I don't love big flames and big fire like most women. We just don't want to deal with the big flare-ups and the big flames and all of that. We want more of a controlled environment, and they have the lights on the inside. So if I am grilling something in the middle of the night, not the middle, but later in the evening and stuff, I can just turn my little lights on and they come right on and I can see if the steak's done and things of that. So they're definitely one of my more favorite grills for gas. Then when you start getting into your kimono style grills, I own a big green egg, which I love. It's more of an art form. You got to be a little bit more patient with it versus that Lynx grill. You're just turning the knobs and you got high, medium, and low, and it does it for you versus the big green egg. You got to make sure you have the charcoal in there and the starters and keep the vents open. And it's an art form. It's a beautiful way of cooking, smoking, and works great for some clients. Other great products that are like that is your Komodo Joe, and Komodo Joe makes one for Lynx grills that comes in a cool charcoal color. And so those can all get built in really nicely. And then your traditional Traeger pellet is another great way of smoking. And it's a little less of an art form because those can be hooked up to your phone. So you can simply dial in what temp you need, how much smoke you need, how long it's going to take, what temperature you want the meat. It's going to have the probes built into it. I would say the smoking art form is more with the green egg and kimono styles. Then the pellet grills are a little more simple and easier to use personally. And so those are my top ones. There's other manufacturers out there that are awesome, like Heston grills, which have been around for quite some time. They do a lot of commercial kitchen applications too, and they have so many amazing colors, and we love they have a Bora Bora blue color that's absolutely beautiful, and this tin roof color and cool diamond plating on a lot of their stuff. And so those are really great grills also. And there's a lot of other manufacturers out there. I personally have also a Fire Magic grill built in. And then you have your classic Weber and things of that nature. So there's a lot of options and a lot of really great options nowadays.
And my next question is about landscaping. Landscaping can really enhance the outdoor kitchen experience. So, what role does landscaping play in tying everything together?
A lot of times you want to make sure you have some nice landscaping around it, but you also don't want anything too close to your outdoor kitchen. You don't want to plant like little baby palm trees next to your outdoor kitchen turns into big palm trees, and you don't want anything ever hanging over anything that you're using to cook. So if you're using power burners, a Sato grill, if you're using Komodo grills, gas grill, whatever it might be, you want to make sure you have that clearance all the way around. So a lot of times you're doing much lower things kind of around it. You want to make sure you're not planting any trees, palm trees, big bushes that in 3 years, 5 years are going to start to hang over or into that space. So you always want to make sure you have your clearance. And then we just have some nice plants and different things around.
And outdoor kitchens need to function well in different seasons. So, how can they be designed to work all year round?
Luckily, it's not too drastic out here, but one of the things we do end up installing a lot is patio heaters. So maybe you have a covered space or a space near the grill and you're able to put some of the heaters in there. They have really cool remote controls that have little sensors. So you'd set your remote to whatever temperature you want and set it down. And once that area where the remote is hits that temperature, then the heater will actually kick off, and it just making sure we have enough for the space. That tends to cover most of the seasons. We do have to sometimes build wind guards in. So a lot of the grills, you don't want wind coming from the back sides of them. It's not great for how the grills perform, but also is you don't want all that smoke blowing in your face as you're opening the lids. Sometimes by maybe putting in a back guard or building up like a little backsplash or something like that, so that when it is windier season out here, you can still grill and you're not going to have any sort of issues that way. The other thing that a lot of people don't think of is making sure you don't pick dark colors for your countertops. Dark colors get really, really hot. And so if you're out there and you're setting stuff down, you're still going to be touching the countertop if you're grabbing things, and you don't want it to get crazy hot. So we do try to stay away from really dark colors for our countertops. So when it's 100 out in the middle of summer, it's not creating even more heat coming off of that.
Finally, for those planning their outdoor kitchen with the future in mind, what are your top tips for future-proofing their investment?
I think it's just maintenance. As long as you can keep up on your maintenance, keep your things covered, that investment's going to really last a long time. Another thing to do is go with more well-known brands for your items. So if something does need to get replaced in 10, 15 years, you can probably find a replacement that's going to be about the same size. If you go with an off brand, maybe that's going to be take a different size opening, their brand's not going to be available anymore, they're not around, and then you're going to have to try to modify what you have to take that item. But if with good maintenance, your stuff will last a really long time. But that's the number one thing, is just make sure you're taking care of your investment.
This has been such an insightful conversation, Alana. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us today.
Thank you.
And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in to the Busse Podcast. If you're considering an outdoor kitchen project, we hope this episode gave you some helpful insights. And don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned for episodes packed with remodeling tips and inspiration. Until next time, happy remodeling.